Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for a program preview for the Master of Science in Innovation and Venture Development. MSIVD is a brand new master's program that's opening this fall 2020 at ASU through a partnership between the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering, the W.P. Carey School of Business, and the Herberger Institute for Design and the Arts. My name is Jackie. I am the graduate coordinator for the MSIVD program. So I am here to work with students through the admissions process, and I also serve students in an academic advising capacity once admitted to the program. I'd like to start today by just going over a brief agenda of everything that we'll be covering in today's webinar. In just a couple of moments, I will introduce you to Cheryl Heller, our program director, who will say a few words about the program. We'll then be hearing today from Lisa Parker, a member of our MSIVD advisory board, who will be talking about changing the numbers for women leaders today. I'll take a few minutes towards the end to go over the admission requirements and the application process, as well as discuss tuition and program cost for MSIVD. And then we do expect to have a few minutes for Q&A towards the end as well. So if at any point throughout the webinar today, you have any questions about anything that any of us have covered, please do leave them in the Q&A section of the webinar, and we will get to all of your questions at the end. So right now, I am going to turn it over to Cheryl Heller, our Program Director of MSIVD, to say a bit about the program.
Thank you, Jackie, and thanks everyone for coming. If you have joined us for any of our innovation sessions in the past, you know that Innovation and Venture Development is a unique program that offers a new kind of education, preparing people to become leaders of change. And it incorporates the three most important disciplines that comprise successful new initiatives. And in addition, it prepares people with the human skills or power skills they need to imagine the future and to inspire other people. Nowhere is the need for change and leaders of change more evident than in issues of equity, whether it's economic equity or health equity or gender equity. I'm really excited about Lisa Parker, who is one of our founding advisors to the program. She is an inspiring example of success and leadership by any measure. She just happens to be a woman, and she believes that more women need to be heard in this category. I can tell you that we have interviewed a number of students and accepted a number of students, and the cohort is really remarkable, ambitious, curious, passionate about creating change, and really diverse. So it's going to be an amazing group of students, and we have room for more, and we're hoping that tonight we can inspire women who are thinking about their future and want to think about their future in a new way to join us. So stay well. We hope to see you in the fall, and I will turn it over to Lisa Parker.
Thank you, Cheryl. So we will be hearing now from Lisa Parker. We're really happy to have her here today. Lisa is the president of her family's diversified portfolio of companies, ranging from aerospace, manufacturing, and engineering to sushi restaurants. She's one of two women holding ownership positions for the Sacramento Kings NBA basketball team, and she's part of the ownership group bringing an MLS soccer team to Sacramento, California. Lisa holds a board position on the business advisory board for the Paradise Valley School District in Arizona, and is a member of the California Women Lead and the Women Innovative Network. And while leading these companies make up her day-to-day activities, she continues to be active in her passion for politics, charity work, advocating for children, and enjoying the great outdoors. Lisa grew up in San Francisco Bay Area, and she holds a Bachelor of Science degree and a Juris Doctorate. Lisa currently lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, where she has been for 17 years. Lisa?
Hi, good evening, everybody. It seems like such an appropriate time to be discussing innovation, right? With SpaceX and NASA, if anyone was watching today, they were joining efforts to bring American astronauts and supplies to the International Space Station. It's just an exciting time for innovation all the way around. So being in the aerospace field, it was quite exciting to see the innovation that was going on with everything today. This mission ended up being scrubbed, from what I understand, and they're going to try again on Saturday, but it'll be an exciting time after 10 years to bring our astronauts back up into space. So having said that, I tend to be a little more plain spoken and conversational in sharing my thoughts and everything with you in my story. So I wanted to be upfront about that and everything. Let me begin by giving you some statistics and facts that you might not be aware of that I found very interesting. Only 25% of the top innovation firms currently are led by women. In 2018, women accounted for only 20% of Fortune 500 chief innovation officers. There's a gender wage gap of 16% between men and women in STEM occupations. It is time we change these numbers. We've come a long way, but we still have a lot farther to go. And the MSIVD program, I believe, will help us get one step closer. I could not be more excited about this program. Let me begin by telling you my story and a little bit about me. I grew up in a traditional middle-class family. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a businessman. I was born in Ohio and raised with Midwestern values, hard work, loyalty. And as my father's career advanced, we moved many times, eventually ending up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I played sports, volleyball, basketball, gymnastics. I watched sports, and I attended sporting events with my family. It was a pastime that we all enjoyed doing. It was instilled into me early that education was always the path to success. So after I graduated from high school, I went on to college, and I found that it was a chance at college to be independent. I was able to expand my horizons and explore the areas and topics that I was interested in. I wasn't an A student, but I was focused and I was determined, and I set goals. I then went on to law school, and I graduated with my Juris Doctorate degree. And I found that education gave me a strong foundation to build off of, no matter what direction I ended up going. I then went on to work at the district attorney's office at a small engineering company and for the California governor. And while these all seem like they're a wide variety, I picked up valuable knowledge, experience, and life lessons along the way. And I can tell you, it wasn't always easy. Sometimes I had to pivot my direction, but I persevered. And it gave me ideas and concepts for later on in my career. I discovered I was an entrepreneur. And I am currently the owner, as Jackie mentioned, and the president of an aerospace manufacturing company here in Arizona. And I've owned this company and run it for just about 18 years now. I'm also the owner of a sushi restaurant here in Arizona and have owned that for 12 years. I'm one of 2 women owners of the Sacramento Kings NBA basketball team. And also, as Jackie mentioned at the introduction, I'm an owner of the newly granted MLS soccer team in Sacramento. How did I achieve all that? Especially as a woman in these traditional male-dominated fields. What was my secret? I would tell you to never let the opportunity pass you by. That's my secret. What does that mean? Never let the opportunity pass you by. It means when the opportunity presents itself, Have the confidence to seize it and take it. Do not second guess it, analyze it, think a long time about it, rationalize it. Do not let that inner critic talk to you, and it'll definitely try. Take the opportunity. Do not let it pass you by. That's really how I became an owner to the NBA basketball team. The opportunity presented itself, and though I was scared to death, wondering what direction this was going to go, I took the opportunity. I seized it. And I became an NBA owner, one of the few women NBA owners in the league. And really, thinking about it, that's what I've done over and over again throughout my life. It's been my values, a strong education, persevering forward, having confidence in myself. I think that's very important. And never letting that opportunity pass me by. That's really brought me to the place that I am now, with all these wide varieties of fields of careers that I now occupy. So that's a little bit about my story and how I arrived at where I'm at now, career-wise. But let me move on and tell you what I believe it takes for a woman to succeed in innovative business, because I believe that this field right now is an exciting field, especially with an example of today with NASA and SpaceX joining efforts in order to put astronauts back up in space. Women and men, but women right now have, it's not enough any longer to just sit at the table. We're there. But now, being at the table, it's time to speak up and leave our mark. We need to do it intelligently, professionally, and strongly. Innovation, much like the STEM courses, are not thought of as traditional fields women would be involved in. But we have managed to change that viewpoint, and women are emerging more and more every day in these fields. So while we are sitting at the table and we're standing in front of that whiteboard, I believe we need to be smarter. What does that mean? It means be prepared for whatever might come your way. That simply means do your homework. That doesn't necessarily mean be book smart. It means be prepared while you're sitting at that table or you're at the whiteboard. It also means while we're sitting at the table, be professional, respectful, courteous, strong, friendly, competent. Professionalism in the innovative world is key. I also believe and think that you need to be patient. And that's what I've experienced being in the innovative business world, in aerospace and space. I was gonna say space. But we do parts for NASA, so we also work in the space department. But it takes patience being in innovation. You need to know that it's not gonna all come together immediately, that it may take some time. And lastly, and I feel extremely strongly about this trait, I think it's important that you know your strengths, but that you also know your weaknesses. The smartest people I know are the ones who recognize their weaknesses. and work to better them. I think that's an extremely important trait for women to have in the innovative business world. And then this program, which I'm so very excited about and honored to be a part of the advisory board for at ASU. Why do women need to be a part of this program? This program is an opportunity for women to both design and define a better future. Women already have these pieces, these ideas, and these products. We're multitaskers. It's in our nature. This program, the MSIVD program that they're offering, just puts it all together. So it will be well packaged to take out into the world and sell it. This program really teaches you how to do all that. For example, it allows you to develop prototypes on what your idea or product might be. You learn how to reach a supply chain, which I can tell you, being in the aerospace field, is extremely important. And it also allows you to prepare financial and capitalization plans. Those are all core concepts that I've encountered in being an entrepreneur and being in the innovative businesses that I'm in. The program also teaches you how to introduce your products to the world. And that's important also. It allows you to connect you with world-class executives who are awaiting your idea. This is a 3-school program that can be found at any university. That can't be found at any university. This is a very unique program. They have taken the School of Design, the School of Business, and the School of Engineering and combined them. There is no other university that I know of who's done this. This is extremely cutting edge, and I believe it to be a game changer. It's truly an opportunity that you shouldn't pass up. I really couldn't be more excited about this program and can't speak highly enough about it. I commend ASU for being so forward-thinking and really innovative for putting this all together. And honestly, as you heard Cheryl Heller talk earlier, with her at the helm, I believe it's going to be a very successful program. And you ultimately will be successful, I believe, for being a part of the program. It definitely has all the components to it that will allow your success to flourish. This truly is an amazing opportunity for you going forward, and I wouldn't let it pass you by. That's my story and how I feel about the program and being involved in it. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask me. I would definitely be open to any thoughts you might have or any questions you might have on what I've experienced in my career and everything going forward. I realize it's a wide ranging from sushi restaurants to aerospace manufacturing and to sports. So it's quite diversified, but I find that it's made life quite exciting along the way. And my college education and my degrees are really the components that have helped me become successful in all those entrepreneur businesses. So have a great evening. Thank you for your time, and I will turn it back over to Jackie or Cheryl.
Thank you, Lisa. We really appreciate you being here today to share your experiences and your ideas with us, and we're excited to have you as part of our advisory board. So I do want to take a few minutes now to talk to everybody about the program's application requirements if you have not yet submitted an application. So in order to apply, you need just a few things. You will need a copy of your undergraduate transcripts. ASU does allow applicants to provide unofficial transcripts at the time of application. So if you have your unofficial transcripts, you can upload them right to the online application, and then you would not need to request your official transcripts until the end of your first semester in the program. So if you are having any issues with obtaining transcripts right now from the undergraduate institution and you have an unofficial copy, you can still definitely apply with that. If you're an international student and may need to meet ASU's English proficiency requirement, ASU is currently accepting the Duolingo English test for English proficiency. So if you are looking for a test that you can take from home, you can certainly do that, and you just need access to a computer with video and audio capability in order to take that test. The only other things that you need to submit the initial online application are a copy of your up-to-date resume and your letter of intent. The letter of intent is just an opportunity for you to introduce yourself to the program faculty, to talk about why you are interested in the MSIVD program and what your background and skills are that you think make you a particularly strong candidate. The faculty are really looking at this as an opportunity to get to know you initially. We have a deadline coming up on June 30th for applications, so we do encourage you to get your applications in for fall by then. And if your application is accepted by the committee, we will reach out to you with some additional questions to answer and schedule an interview before the faculty committee makes their final decision. So the link on this page is to the MSIVD website. You can find the link to apply there if you haven't started your application already. And then I also wanted to just quickly touch on the program cost for MSIVD. So it is a one-year program. You would be completing 30 credit hours total over the course of that 1 year. You'll be taking 12 credits in the fall, 12 in spring, and then finishing up with 6 credits in the summer. So the graphic on this screen here will give you an estimated breakdown of what the overall cost will be for the program for 1 year based on your residency status. So whether you're an Arizona resident, a non-resident, or international student, you'll see that in addition to the ASU tuition and fees, there is a program fee associated with MSIVD of $4,000 per semester. So that's in addition to the standard rate that all ASU graduate students would pay for their tuition. If you're looking for funding opportunities, we do like to let prospective students know this is a STEM designated program. So there are scholarship programs that are built specifically to cater to students in STEM designated programs. So those scholarships are a great place to start if you are looking for external funding opportunities. STEM designated programs also offer additional benefits to veteran students as well as to international students with their OPT. So those are other things to consider as well when looking for a graduate program. So we have a few minutes now for questions. I'm going to turn to the Q&A portion of the webinar to see if we have any questions, or if you have a question and you have not entered it yet, please take a minute now to ask a question and we will be able to get to all of you. So I do see one question here asking if the fee is built into the tuition, if it's taken out of financial aid awards automatically. The fee is billed separately from ASU's base tuition. So if you're a student and you go in to view your tuition bill, you will see it as a separate line item. The way that ASU's tuition works is that typically when financial aid is applied to your account, it will go to whatever is has been billed first. So financial aid certainly can apply to the program fee, but it will appear separately on your actual tuition statement as its own charge. Let's see if we have any other questions coming in.
Lisa, thank you. That was fantastic. I'm not sure if you saw it, but we were talking about innovation before we started this. can you talk a little bit about, and I'm intrigued by your thought that women need to be smarter. Can you talk about some of the ways that you've done that? If you have concrete examples?
Sure, sure. What I have found is that when I'm sitting at the boardroom table, that the topics or the questions that might be being discussed, it may go off topic, or the question might come your way that you weren't expecting. And so I have found that being extremely prepared and doing your homework allows you to participate in that conversation. And it also allows you to participate in any side conversations that may go on. Sometimes being in business, it's sitting at the boardroom, but it's also the side conversations that you participate in that are extremely important. And I have found that if you are prepared for any of those conversations that you might have any idea that might be coming your way, then it allows you to be stronger and I'm not sure the right word here, but it allows you a place at the table of perhaps a little more respect. And that can be difficult for women when you're in a room in a field that tends to be full of men and dominated by men. So anything that you can do to prepare yourself and allow yourself to be prepared with the conversations and so forth and the topics being discussed, I feel is an advantage and allows us a stronger place at the table.
So I see we have another question for you in the Q&A here. How would you view a person in your businesses who had this kind of transdisciplinary background that would be offered by the MSIVD program?
Wow, I think it's so unique that they've combined these programs. I think Cheryl and I had discussed it, and I was thinking more about it, that if you look at the education that it would take for all three of these schools and to receive a degree, it would take anywhere from 9 to 10 years. So having the combination and be able to accomplish this in 1 year and everything, and to learn all the different ins and outs that they're going to teach you during this year, I think would walk you into any business with that much more knowledge than other people you might be working with. Does that kind of answer the question, I hope?
Oops, I was muted, but yes, thank you so much. So I see we have a student actually or a question from one of our admitted students here asking for additional information about program funding opportunities and classes. So we will be reaching out to all of our admitted students probably in the next week or two, I would say, with more information about the funding that we will be offering to them. And I can definitely get you information about the course registration as well, so I can follow up with you after this.
Can I say one more thing now that I'm thinking a little more about that question from the entrepreneur aspect?
Absolutely.
You know, I think when you have your own business and you're an entrepreneur and possibly even a startup, then the more well-rounded you are, and this program with MSIVD allows you to, teaches you all the different aspects to allow you to be well-rounded, from financials to prototypes to supply chain management. It makes you that much stronger as an entrepreneur. I think it's extremely important as an entrepreneur that you're very well-rounded in different aspects, so that going forward, you are able to be successful in the many different things that it's required in order to be an entrepreneur and run a business.
There's one more very interesting question here, Jackie.
Are you seeing that in the chat? I think I might see the same question as you.
Yeah, go for it.
So we have a question. With so many investors as advisors, is there an opportunity to secure an investment during the course? Lisa, is that something you feel comfortable speaking to, or Cheryl, do you want to speak more broadly for the advisory board?
Yeah, I mean, we are not putting our advisors on the spot. I would say yes, absolutely. There's an opportunity, and you will be connected to and given a stage in front of a lot of investors. Not only the network, the ecosystem that we're developing for the program, but the entire entrepreneurial ecosystem at ASU. So we are, and Brent Siebold, who's one of the key faculty leads and brains of the program, runs a lot of the entrepreneurial events at ASU, and we are calculating ways that our students can be a part of these competitions. So yes, we are thinking a lot already and making connections to get students and teams in front of potential investors. And then of course, it is up to you.
And I can tell you, and I'm happy to say this, I currently have 3 ASU graduates. One is currently receiving a master's, I believe, in engineering at ASU currently, who work for me in the automation department. And it was important to me that going forward, we continue to have the younger generation in our companies, and especially in the aerospace company. We were seeing that our workforce was aging, and I've always believed that in order to stay relevant and in the industry, you need to bring on the younger generation with the newer ideas. So I have brought on the ASU people, as well as I also have a program for high school students who come and work for me every year. So just so they can bring their creative ideas here. So I'm very open to talking to and, having ASU graduates come and see our business and possibly work for us or with us going forward and partnering.
Great, thank you so much. So we are out of time now. I do want to thank Lisa Parker again for being with us here today. We really appreciate your time to share your story with us, and thank you to Cheryl for being here as well to talk about the program. Thank you to all of you who joined us today. This is my contact information here. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. As I said, our next application deadline is June 30th. So if you are interested in applying, we do encourage you to apply by that deadline. I hope that we will hear from you all again, and I hope that you all have a wonderful evening.